Well, I'm doing CrossFit competitions, and I actually just started Olympic lifting. Like,
Okay.
you don't start Olympic lifting when you're close to 60 unless you're me. But
Yeah,
here I am.
here you are.
Welcome to the Carla Rand Show, a weekly podcast designed to dig into the lives of everyday people. People who are making a positive impact, people who have risen above and overcome obstacles. Insights and stories from ordinary individuals who inspire us all towards the truly extraordinary. Here's your host.
Hey, it's Carla, and today I get to interview Shawna Kaminski. I reached out to Shawna because she was my business coach. She's done nutrition coaching with me, and she has her own fitness business as well. So we have a lot of similarities, but she's just a few years ahead of me. So her kids are older, and she is a rock star athlete, you guys. Like, she's the fittest 57, I think, year old that I've ever seen. She's just incredible. She does CrossFit, and she can just do so many incredible things. So that in itself is inspiring. The fact that she runs a really efficient and profitable business is also inspiring, and she's such a great mom. I talked about it in this interview about how when she was doing business coaching with me, she would talk to me about my family. She'd be like, okay, Carla, it's good, you want to pursue business and stuff, but what about don't forget your family, don't forget about reading the stories to your kids, all those kind of things. So she's just like, almost like a mother figure to me in so many ways, and just like a real mentor in my life. So really excited to hear from her. She's got so many great insights. I absolutely love this interview, and I'm pretty darn sure that you will too. Let's get into it. Okay, well, Shawna Kaminski, welcome to the Carla Rand Show. Really nice to have you here.
Oh, it's just such a pleasure to be here. Such a pleasure to see you, Carla. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. It's so nice to see you again because you've been really instrumental in my life. And one of the things that Shawna has done for me is she helped to coach me getting my getting my offline program really going, really ramping it up. So I did memberships, and she really kind of helped to coach me with that. So that was awesome. Like, you were such a big help in getting my business to that next level. So thank you for that first and
Ah.
foremost, Shawna. I really appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate that. And I just love the thought that any person that you help, Carla, I have a small hand in it. So I
Mm,
just feel good knowing that, I've had a hand in helping more people
mm,
get fit and healthy, even just through you or through my clients that I coach. So I
mm.
appreciate the feedback there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. Yeah, you were a great business coach, and it's so nice to connect with you again. Because actually, Shauna and I haven't really talked. I just said, "Hey, can you be on my podcast?" Because I really admire her for so many reasons, and so I just kind of sent her like basically a text, and we just said we're going to get on here. So we haven't seen
Yep,
each
here
other,
we
we
go.
haven't chatted, and we're just like ready to go.
But
But
that's okay.
yeah, so it's really going to be fun just to kind of catch up. But let's go backwards first, Shauna. I want people to kind of get some context, kind of who you are, what you do, that kind of thing. But let's start with you, little Shauna, back in junior high. Say you're about 12 or
Ugh.
13. What was life like for you back then?
I was a very big geek.
Okay.
I had Coke bottle like glasses. I was really sporty, so they were always broken and, you know, basically falling off my head with black electrician tape on it. I like, no disrespect to my parents, but I had a very tumultuous like home life.
Mm,
So I really dove into academics and athletics as
mm.
a place to be validated, to feel worthy. It was a safe place for me. So I was just um, I was Lisa in The Simpsons, just
Okay.
an overachiever,
Mm.
just always doing more, just wanting to like just that. I never actually even thought of that until now. I probably was Lisa, except for with the geeky glasses.
Okay. So you were an overachiever. Now, I know like you got into fitness and stuff. Did that start then? It sounds like that started at a young age, like in junior high or before that?
Yeah, I actually started competitive swimming when I was 6.
Mm,
So I was swimming. Actually, I was a swimmer from age 6 till I took grade 12 off because I actually grew my hair out and was didn't want to get in the water twice a day.
mm,
And then, but I went back to it in varsity for 2 years. So I was a swimmer. But in addition to swimming, I was on all the school teams. I was just like I was just super sporty. I just love sports, but it was always individual sports. I didn't do any team sports.
okay.
So
So
that was kind of my history in sport.
you didn't play basketball, volleyball, nothing like that.
No,
Okay.
I actually, I mean, I didn't play basketball in high school, but I did play field hockey and volleyball. Um, and there's, uh, I mean, I guess those were the only, no, I did a little bit of track, but not much of a runner.
Mm.
But just mostly volleyball. And, but with the bad vision, I wasn't really that great at it, but I
Okay.
just had not very good hand-eye coordination, but I still tried and I enjoyed it. But yeah, for the most part, like the higher level sport was all individual, like was
Mm.
swimming. And then after that, then I, like after high school, after I was done swimming, then I did competitive freestyle skiing and
Mm.
then some physique. And then, yeah, it just goes on from there.
Yeah. So where did you grow up?
Well, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Okay.
And then when I was in grade 2, we moved to Calgary. So
Okay.
I'm pretty much a Calgarian,
Yeah.
um, from many years back.
And did you have any siblings?
Yep, I have a younger sister and an older brother. So
Okay.
I'm the middle child.
The
So
middle child.
smaller family, but it's yeah, I was the black sheep in my family because I was the geek that was into sports and school, and my family was kind of like parties, and I was just not in that way.
So you were just like always trying to do the next thing, progress, get better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like from a very young age. Yeah, I was just always very driven, now that I think about it, quite driven from a young age.
Hmm.
There was safety in that, in setting a goal and meeting it, and then setting another goal and meeting it. I felt a sense of accomplishment and purpose, and I really enjoyed that.
Do you think that helped you? Because you said you had a tumultuous childhood. Do you think
Oh, yes.
that's kind of what kept you focused, kept your
Yes, that
okay.
kept my sanity.
Mm-hmm.
I learned at a very young age that like being healthy and working out and like physicality was just a great stress reliever.
Mm.
So I know that was my saving grace. That really helped me as I grew up and helped me kind of just stay out of trouble and hang around with the right people. It was good in so many ways for me.
Mm. So, and then you said you got into physique competitions. When did that happen? Was that right after high school or was that when you were still in high school?
Nope. No. So high school, university, I swam competitively for 2 years. And then I kind of we did dryland training in the gym. And then, so I dropped swimming and then I just really loved the gym. And at that time I had met my then husband who had done physique competition. So I think my first one was when I was 23.
Okay.
And back then it was bodybuilding. And I mean, I really enjoyed the process. I really am happy that I did it because I learned, when we were coaching together, you did like your own kind of little competition or like preparation because
Mm-hmm.
it gets you to learn about your body.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed that, but I didn't enjoy the competition so much. It was kind of dumb, but
Okay.
you have to do it to understand it. And I did pretty well with it, but just nothing that I would ever pursue or do now. No judgment on anyone that does because I did it and it was a great learning process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think with you now, like you do nutrition coaching, and you can really, like, you learned a lot through that process, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes, it's like I really love that, I can relate on a lot of levels to people that are dieting so much
Mm-hmm.
because you have to diet when
Mm-hmm.
you're doing physique competitions. So I've experienced that. So it was fun in that
Yeah.
regard.
Cool. So you do nutrition coaching, you do fitness coaching. Basically, you run group classes, essentially, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, my brick and mortar is a Fit Body Boot Camp. And so I don't coach in my boot camp so much, but I have a great team of coaches that I coach. And then my online business is mostly nutrition based coaching where we incorporate exercise, but I don't necessarily program so much.
Mm.
And my ideal client is just Mrs. Jones. It's not high level athletes. It's just like people like myself,
Mm-hmm.
women 40 and 50 that just want to get leaner, fitter, just like your clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I learned a lot from you because you did nutrition coaching with me initially and kind of got me set up. And then I kind of took that and ran with it. And so now I actually have quite a few nutrition coaching clients, Shauna. Like there's lots of
Awesome.
people coming to
Yeah,
me. So it's really
that's
kind of neat.
great.
But I wanted to ask you a question because you wrote a book about menopause
Yep.
and you tend to work with people more 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
What can you tell us? Because there's lots of women that are watching, and the men that are watching, they should know this anyways, because, they probably
Yes.
have wives or they have people,
Yeah.
other women. What would you say, like, how does menopause affect a woman's health and fitness? And what can they kind of do about it? What would you say?
Well, it's interesting because menopause in so many ways gets a bad rap in that in that a lot of people will just say, "Oh, it's just menopause. There's nothing I can do about it." But typically, like if we look at men that are 40 and 50, they're
Mm-hmm.
experiencing some of the same weight gain that women in their 40s and 50s are experiencing, like that middle belly weight gain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yes, hormones are involved, but and we can't do a lot with like menopause hormones, estrogen, progesterone, like but we can do things, we can do a lot with insulin and cortisol, and lots of times those are the hormones that are really out of whack because of a sedentary lifestyle, because of nutrition. So if we can address nutrition and lifestyle, then we really can calm those menopausal symptoms. And a lot of the weight gain is can be attributed to a loss of lean muscle tone, because a lot of women in their 40s and 50s are becoming more sedentary, and so if so they're losing their metabolic furnace, so to speak, because muscle is metabolically active.
Mm.
So the less muscle you have, the less calorie burning opportunity you have. So you eat the same amount, you're going to gain weight. So
Mm-hmm.
even if a woman is exactly the same weight as she was in her 30s, her composition is likely different. So the way she metabolizes that food is not as effective as, let's say she had 1,500 calories when she was um, 30, but had, 20% body fat, but she's having 1,500 calories now and she's 30% body fat. Well, it's going to be metabolized a little bit differently. So the key is simple. The principle is simple. The application is not always so much, but honestly, just building and maintaining lean muscle tone, and just managing nutrition. And now, when I say that, I'm not saying we need to go on a diet,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm the anti-diet person, and I know that with your nutrition coaching as well, it's just like, let's just make those small changes that are sustainable, so any weight we've lost we can maintain,
Mm-hmm.
so that we're just building healthy lifestyle habits. So that's what I would say mostly about menopause is it's not anything that needs to be cured. It's like puberty doesn't need to be cured. You've got enough kids to know that, what, kids are going to go through puberty. You can't do anything about it, but you can manage it,
Mm-hmm.
right? With behavior, with getting enough sleep, with, reducing stress. These are all the same with hormonal changes as we age as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for saying that. Because a lot of people talk to me, yeah, well, menopause is really getting me down. And I think it can, and it's different for every person. Some women do
Yep.
have really extreme menopause symptoms, and maybe some people do need to get some sort of hormone therapy to help them. But I think you're so right. In general, eating well, exercising changes the game for so many people. Like people that I've worked with too, they're like, man, my menopause symptoms are going away. Like, this is not such a big
Yeah.
deal. I feel better. I
Yeah.
have energy. Wow. Like, this is such a
Yeah.
change.
And not to discount, like I've had hot flashes. I know what that's like. But
Mm-hmm.
my sister, who's only 2 years younger than me, we were in a room together once, and her lifestyle is not as healthy as mine. She's really moving towards that, which I'm really happy about. But I remember looking over at her, and she was literally red as a tomato, and just like pouring sweat just instantly.
Mm.
And it's like, so we have a similar genetic makeup, but her menopause experience is so much different than mine, because she doesn't wasn't she's exercising more regularly now. She's looked at her diet more closely now. But prior to that, it's just like, we had two different lifestyles. So yeah, like, not to minimize women's symptoms, because
Mm-hmm.
they are there, but we can really help them out
Mm-hmm.
by addressing fitness and nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Really helps.
Yeah, and for those of you who haven't maybe, you don't know Shauna, you haven't seen her a lot. She's like super fit, like probably the fittest person. Like, are you in your 50s?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Okay.
57.
57. And she like looks like she's like 25. Like you just
Well, no, but thank you.
but I mean
Thank
you're
you.
so fit, right? You're so fit and you're in great shape and you and not just like you don't just, look fit, but you actually can do stuff, right? Like you're doing all these pull-ups, you're doing like you're working out, you're just like in awesome shape. And you did another competition too. What was it like what do you call that? Like
Well, I'm doing CrossFit competitions, and I actually just started Olympic lifting. Like,
okay.
you don't start Olympic lifting when you're close to 60 unless you're me. But
Yeah.
here I am.
Here you are. And you
So,
did pretty good, right? Like I saw the pictures and stuff. You looked like you were rocking it.
well,
Maybe you didn't feel like
you
you
know
were.
what? Yeah, I mean, my kids were super proud of me. I qualified for the events that I wanted to. So, yes, for a first time out, I was really happy.
Oh yeah.
So, it's never good enough, but
Right.
it's just, you know what I mean? It's like, I wish, but it's like, no, I
Yeah.
have to be kinder to myself and be like, nope, that was good first time out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so I just feel like age is not really an excuse.
Mhm.
Like, I still want to be doing all the things that I want to be doing, and I feel like if we keep moving, we can. We
Mhm.
just have to listen to our bodies.
Yeah, it's so true. So many people say, "Yeah, I'm getting old." And I'm like, "You're 35. Like you're
Oh
not
my
getting old."
gosh.
Or even at
Yeah,
45 or even at 50, right? Like I'm getting old and so now I can't. And I'm like, "No." Or they're like the idea that you should back off of weightlifting as you get older because that's for young people. No, I think it's the opposite. The older you get, the more you
absolutely.
have to combat that natural muscle loss that you're going to experience year by
Exactly.
year, right?
Yes. I mean, we have to be smart about it. So, like you and I, it's our background. We know kind of what we're doing. But even so, I have a CrossFit coach. I have an Olympic lifting coach. I'm not just going in there and like swinging from bars and thrusting weights over my head. Like, I'm getting coaching on it. So it's really important as we age to reach out and get coaching so that we can do this safely. But I mean, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be winning the CrossFit Games when I'm 80,
Mm,
or Olympic lifting when just because it's like I will be the last person standing if necessary. Like,
mhm.
I'm just not going to quit unless I don't know,
Unless you absolutely can't. Like, somebody's holding you
exactly.
down. Yeah,
Yeah. And it
pinning you to the
doesn't mean
floor.
that I'm necessarily going to be competing at it, but I'm still going to be, moving as best I can.
Yeah,
So
I don't doubt that, Shauna. You're gonna be there throwing weights all over when you're 85.
I will be. Yeah.
Everyone will be like, "Wow, look at her go." Yeah. Well, I know, Shauna, you
Yeah.
have like, you're super fit. You are successful at everything you do. You just keep going and going. You're running this business. You've helped me, you've coached others, you've done nutrition coaching, business coaching, all kinds of coaching. You've helped so many people. But I have a question for you. And this question comes up because when you were coaching with me, sometimes I was like, Shauna, because I'm very driven like you, and we're very
Mhm.
similar. And I was like, I got to get to that next level. I want to do this. And you said, but Carla, remember your family. Remember that you want to be there to read that. How did you say it? You said you want to be there to read your kids their bedtime story and you want to be their family. So I'm asking you right now just to kind of share with us, how do you find, I know it's super hard, but how do you kind of find that balance with family and business? Have you been able to find that balance? Has it been a struggle in your life? I'd like to just hear you talk about that just for my benefit if nobody else's.
Well, I mean, one thing is my kids are older than you.
Right.
And I reinvented myself in my late 40s.
Mm,
I was a school teacher for 20 years.
mm,
So I was not an entrepreneur at the age that, say, your kids are right
mm-hmm,
now. I had the opportunity to, have a job, so to speak. And, while I was driven in other ways, like with like athletics at that time, like, a job is different than being an entrepreneur.
mm-hmm,
And so when I became an entrepreneur, my kids were already teenagers. And
mm-hmm,
so it I struggled with balancing it. One thing that helped me was to realize that work fills the time you give it.
mm,
So if I open my laptop at 5 a.m. and then just keep that laptop open, it could be 8 p.m. if I don't put bumpers on my day
mm-hmm,
and kind of, say, okay, I've got to be done by 5. Because guess what? As soon as you put urgency on something, lights a fire under your butt and you tend to get things done faster, because otherwise it's like, oh, I've got all this time. Oh, I'm going to just dilly dally here and there.
mm-hmm.
And you're not as efficient. So that really helped me. It seems like such a simple thing to say, that work fills the time you give it. But once I realized that, it's like I'm being less efficient and working too much.
Mhm.
So over the years, I've felt like I've been able to be more efficient and work less
Mm.
so that I can actually step away without, because so many entrepreneurs are like, when they're with their family, they're feeling guilty that they're not in their business. And when they're in their business, they're feeling guilty that they're not with their family.
Mm.
So, putting the bumpers on my day like that, and then being fully present when I'm working, and then fully present with my kids. And my kids now are in their early 20s, but we have like a lot of fun and a great relationship. But that didn't happen because now they're in their 20s.
Mm.
It's because we fostered that and made time for that the entire, like, as we as we went, right? It's
Mhm.
not like your kids can grow up and be like, okay, well, now I have time for a great relationship with my kids,
Mhm.
and so I struggled with that in the beginning, because when you're growing a business, it's, when you got this fire under your butt, you're just so excited to just get going on it.
Mhm.
um but then it's just like, yeah, but and that's why I did give you that advice,
Yeah.
Carla, to be like, your kids are this age once, and there's going to be lots of time for your business.
Mhm.
So in some ways, it's like I might have held you back business wise, but I wanted to be more than just like a business coach. I wanted to say, because I'm older than you, and it's like, okay, this is the big picture. So just do some thinking as to what's important and valuable for you, because it's
Yeah.
different for everyone.
Yeah, I felt like um, you really cared. You were just like, "Okay, I'm gonna get Carla, like, she's gonna, make as much money as I can. I'm just gonna squeeze everything out of her. She's just gonna push, push, push." You were just like you could tell I was driven enough on my own, and I would do what you told me to do, but then you were kind of, pulling me back, and sometimes it kind of bugged me, Shauna. Sometimes I'm kinda like, "Oh, Shauna," like, but then I was like, "That's exactly what I need to hear." And so I'd get off the phone to you, and I'd have my marching orders. I knew what I needed to do, but I was also
Yeah.
like, "You know what, Carla? Yes, you need to spend time with your kids." And so it was really helpful. Like, you were really a genuine mentor, not just in my business, but like just kind of in my whole
Ah,
life.
thank
So
you.
yeah, so I really
Well, that's
appreciated that.
good, because I my goal was not to hold you back. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have, it's like I wanted you to soar, because guess what? When my clients are doing well, it's like I win too.
Yeah.
Anytime a client wins in weight loss or business or anything, it's just like if I have a small hand in their winning, it's like I'm winning.
Mm-hmm.
So I just didn't want you to have regrets that, you're pushing hard, and then your marriage suffers, or relationships with your kids suffer, because at the end of the day, like, I know you're a family person.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to, like, success is not just money in the bank
Mm-hmm.
or accolades or followers, or success, is much more than that, as far as I'm concerned anyway.
Yeah. So
And I
how?
felt like you were the same with that.
Yeah. So how would you define success then in your life or in anybody's life? Like, what'd be true success? Obviously, it's not just financial. It's not just like you said, accolades.
Yeah. Well, I mean, success is really, yeah, feeling good in your own skin, knowing that, like, knowing yourself, knowing, like, I love helping people, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that I've helped my kids, I've helped my clients. Um, yeah, money in the bank is great. But
Yeah.
looking myself in the mirror and knowing, hey, I did right by this person,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that is more important than having a zillion clients um that I, don't feel like I gave my best to. That was one of the reasons why I left teaching, actually, is
Mm.
because I got bored with teaching, and I felt like, you know what, I am a heck of a good teacher, but I'm not passionate about it. And there's so many teachers that are just kind of past their expiration date, and I'm like, you know what, I need someone younger and excited about this, moving into this job. I'm excited about something else. I need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Knowing
being
that.
true to yourself is, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, listening to that inner voice of like what's right for you.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that. That's cool. Yeah, I feel like you are yeah, you've really helped me a lot, Shauna, in a lot of ways, more than like nutritious
Ah,
fitness, but even just like following you and seeing all the stuff that you're doing has been really awesome too. So thank you for doing that. I wanted to ask you about some struggles in your life though, because part of it it's like, okay, Shauna's pretty awesome. But there's probably been some struggles in your life. Obviously, balancing family and business has probably been a bit of a struggle. But are there some struggles that you'd be willing just to kind of share with us? Maybe what's gone on, and then maybe some things that you have been able to kind of overcome over the years.
Well, I mean, everybody has struggles. Um, I feel pretty privileged when we're talking about struggles. And, I don't know when this is going to air, but there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world right now. So it's like, I feel like my struggles are pretty minimal compared
Mm,
to, some of the bigger world struggles that there are right now. But one thing for me has been balance. And honestly, one of the biggest struggles for me is fitting in fun.
mm,
Because I have been so driven, I'm so results driven that it is difficult sometimes to just like take a break. And I feel like maybe some relationships might have suffered because of that. Like my marriage, for example, that was,
mm.
nobody likes to have a failed marriage, but part of it is because like both of us were, hey, sorry, I have barking dogs.
Barking dogs. That's
Um,
okay.
both of us were pretty driven. Being driven is a double-edged sword
Hmm.
that I think more recently I'm getting better at including more fun in my days and in my life. In fact, one of my business coaches, one of his pieces of advice was, during your week, you schedule your fun first,
Mm,
which is probably not something that most business coaches would say. They would be like, schedule your work around your fun.
hmm.
So, I mean, I know that sounds doesn't sound like much of a struggle, but in
Hmm.
terms of overall happiness, I think that's been that's been difficult because yeah, work is satisfying, but I'm learning that other things are satisfying as well.
Hmm.
That I'm really driven with sports, so I'm either training, for which I love, or I'm working in my business, which again I love. But
Hmm.
I'm learning that I'm enjoying a lot of other fun things too, like just hanging out or traveling. And it's like I need to make time for that.
Mm,
And then probably another thing is just the imposter syndrome.
mm,
You know, I don't know if you've experienced it at all. To sometimes say, well, like, who are you to be doing this, or running a mastermind, or running
mm,
your second mastermind? Do you know what I mean? Because
mhm.
like just that self-doubt. And so yeah, just not focusing on the insecurities and focusing on the wins.
Mm,
I think we all struggle a little bit with that imposter syndrome.
I totally do. And it's funny because I've been talking a lot about that lately. Um, just like being more vulnerable and also like saying to people, like, yeah, like I do sometimes struggle with binge eating, but I'm still helping people with their nutrition. And for quite a while, I thought, I can't do that. Like, until I get this figured out, I can't help other people. And then I realized, okay, well, sometimes I yell at my kids. Sometimes like, until I get my parenting figured out, I can't be given advice. Sometimes I'm testy with my husband, or sometimes I'm rude. I better not help anybody in their marriage either. And then I realized, you know what, Carla, there's never going to be perfection. You need to learn to be able to help
Exactly.
people in your own
In
struggles, you know?
Yeah, and use your own struggle to be able to yeah, lead the way and help them. It's like
I can
otherwise you
relate.
wouldn't be. Yeah, and that's the point, is that once you get to the, like, once we'll be dead. Like we'll never be perfect, but when we don't have those struggles, like we're unrelatable.
Hmm.
So having, yelling at your kids, having a binge eat every now and again, yeah, makes us human and makes us relatable, and actually helps us help our clients more, because it's like, wow, I really know how you feel,
Yeah.
which I think is the most important thing.
Yeah. And I'm the same as you. Like, I really do want to help people. But that's been
Yeah.
a struggle with me too, is like, I just want to help everybody. And then it's like, okay, Carla, but you need to make sure that you're, like you said, having fun, or you have some time for that mental
Yeah.
break. Right. And
Yeah.
so that's been important. And then also just having fun with the family, having fun
Yes.
doing things. And so I love fun, and I've structured my business so that I have a lot of fun. Like, I love teaching the classes, I love connecting
Yeah.
with the people. Like, that is fun for me, but I also need to find other types of fun as well, and fun that I can have with
Exactly.
my family, right? Like
Right.
playing a game of soccer or going riding or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't want my whole identity to be wrapped up in my business or in athletics, or like I don't want to be so one dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
because guess what? Like right now when we're taping this, it's COVID. So my business is closed. I mean, it's
Mm.
still running, but it's different. Like all competitions are all off, off the grid. So it's like, okay, well, there has to be other areas of fun, because if something should happen to one area of your life, you're going to really experience loss. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to be expanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I do sometimes, Shauna? Well, I do this actually often and I'm doing it more and more. When I just need a break and I just want to have some fun, I'll just put on my music and I'll just crank my favorite song and I'll just start bebopping around in the kitchen. Like maybe I'm cooking supper and I get the kids and start dancing around. And sometimes they're like, Mom, 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 the teenagers. But like we just have fun, pretty soon we're dancing around. And then I'm like,
good,
what's your favorite song? And I just find that music, for me, anyways, it just like takes me away from
good.
whatever I'm thinking about and just like I
Yep.
can have fun, I can relax. So it doesn't even matter what I'm doing, whether I'm driving, cooking supper, I'm having fun. I'm singing at the top
Good.
of my lungs. And I think it's fun for the kids too. Like they're like, "Oh yeah, let's all have fun now," right? Like
Yeah.
cuz
And it's
sometimes
good for your kids to see you doing that. Like, okay, because they see you working a lot. They see you
mhm.
in their fitness business a lot. And it's
Mhm.
like, okay, they see you in a different light now. Like,
Mhm.
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, so we like to do that. We like to play, get the big speaker up and just crank the bass and
That's
yeah,
great.
have lots of fun. Dance around the kitchen.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we do have a lot of fun, but yeah, it's always a balance. Always something I think probably always be something that I'll have to struggle with a little bit. Just like there's the constant thing because yeah, your business or your work, especially for men and women, depending on where you're at, but it can just become everything. And even you as a teacher, because I'm a teacher too,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
that like same thing like you said, work will fill the time that you give
T-
it. So teaching
Yep.
too, right? You can stay till 4, go
Oh
home,
my
or you can stay
goodness.
till 10 o'clock at night and still not get
Yep.
everything done.
And then still take work home to, oh, I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to plan this. I'm going to, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like you're always in constant preparation. And I mean, I love that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really love work. Like when
Mm-hmm.
when I was a teacher, I loved it, until I didn't. And
Yeah.
then it's like, then I, just got a little bit bored with it. But for the most part, I do love that. But I also need to experience other, like, give time for other things that I love.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I think too, like something that you mentioned, how you were teaching, you did it for 20 years, and then you did a shift. You're like, yeah, I'm not enjoying it anymore. It's time to shift. And I think a lot of people, not so much maybe in the younger generation, but there's a lot of people that have this idea that if they have a degree in that or that's their thing, they have to stay with it till they die. And I think it's
yes.
enlightening for us to see, for me to see that you shifted because you didn't enjoy that anymore, and that's okay. Right. And
Yeah.
you can, and like life is flexible. You can do so many different things. You're not limited. You're not in a box. Right.
Yeah, and it's such a great stepping stone, and I think it's been good for my kids as, young adults to be seeing that, hey, the career I choose doesn't necessarily have to be like lead to my coffin.
Mm-hmm.
Like my teaching led to, becoming a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like same with you as a teacher, it's like we use those skills as a stepping stone to the next thing,
Mm-hmm. I know
you
some
know?
people say, "Oh, did you waste your teaching degree, Carla? You became a teacher and then had kids. You never really went back and you didn't really do that much." And I'm like, "No, no, nothing's ever a waste. We can use everything." you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
teaching people all the time.
absolutely.
It's constantly what I'm doing. And I'm doing it in a way that
Yeah.
I really enjoy. Like when I go and I sub at the schools, I have to say I don't love it. Like I love the kids for the
Yeah.
most part. I don't love it.
Yeah.
But I love teaching classes. I love doing nutrition coaching with people. That's what I love. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going
Yeah.
to say
It's
anything's
still
wasted.
teaching. And
Exactly.
that's the same with me. Like I'm still teaching. When I'm coaching a client, I'm still teaching, whether I'm teaching boot camp, coaching a nutrition client, coaching a business client.
Mhm.
Like I'm a teacher at heart.
Mhm. Yeah, you totally
Same
are.
with you.
I picked that up too. Yeah, I think we're very similar in a lot of ways, which is cool. Why don't you? Is there anything, Shauna, that maybe you haven't spoke about? Anything that you want to share? That maybe questions I haven't asked you yet? Is there anything that you'd like? Oh, I wish Carla would ask me that question or anything.
Um, well, I don't know if there's anything I wish you had asked me, but
Okay.
I think the message that I would like to give, particularly to women, is that a lot of times women think, well, I couldn't do that.
Mm,
Like, and they, think of things like, well, because, I'm not a great public speaker, or I'm shy, or I'm this, or I'm that. It's like, I am an introvert. I am very shy, but I decided that that wouldn't help me get to the places that I wanted to be. And so I was just, I was able to overcome kind of being shy and being an introvert. I'm still an introvert,
Mm-hmm.
but I can be in a crowd of people and be fine with it. So what, if you decide that you want to do something, there's nothing that will hold you back except for you.
Mm.
So I just want to encourage people, whether it's about getting healthier fit or changing careers or finding that relationship that they always have wanted, that there's always a way that you can make it happen. And so just to encourage people to pursue what they really desire,
Mm.
because I think the worst thing is not trying.
Mm.
That's a bigger disappointment than trying and not reaching where you're going to get.
Yeah, I would way rather try something and fail than have the regret of thinking I never
I
even
didn't
tried.
try
Yeah.
because there's no failure.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to learn something, and whatever you reach for is going to, if you don't get to exactly the spot that you had planned, you're going to get somewhere else good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the way I look at it, is that there's really no failure. And I mean, sometimes it's just like, okay, well, what's the worst can happen? I'll embarrass myself. Well, that is the least that, like
Yeah.
that Olympic lifting competition, for example. A lot of people are like, well, aren't you nervous? I'm like, what would I be nervous about? Like my opening are so light, and it's just like, what if I even miss them? So I embarrassed myself. Who cares?
Yes,
Nobody will even remember that.
that's right. Only you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, that's how I did like my internet business, doing videos at first. Like, do you think I was good at those in the beginning? No, I was horrible. But how do you get better? By being bad and then
Yes.
getting better from there and just being willing to fail forward. I think if that's really just fail forward,
Mm-hmm.
you'll always be further along.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, where do people go to see you, to find you, Shawna? Like, where are they going to see your Olympic lifts and see like all your great posts that you do and the
or
motivation,
the
the inspiration?
or sometimes the epic fails
Yeah,
because
I
I
saw
tried it.
that one fail. What did you do? You did something crazy. I thought you were going to hurt yourself.
There's been a couple, but one I think I had a plate on my back and I jumped up to a
Yeah,
bar
yeah.
and
That
yeah,
looked
so
terrible. That looked like something that like it'd have to be in a bloopers because I was just like, oh, she must have hurt herself so bad. Did you
no,
hurt yourself?
I
Okay, good,
didn't.
good.
But it's like if I have the camera on when I do those, it's like, I got to show that because there's more of those probably than the good things.
Yeah.
But even just finding me on Instagram probably is because then we can message. I can like I love to hear from people. So Instagram, Shawna Kaminski. I've just gone to TikTok
Ooh.
because that's a new platform. My
Yeah.
business coach said to try out, and just Facebook, Shawna Kaminski. I think I might be the only one,
Okay.
if you spell my name right. So, and then anyone can reach me that way, and I'd be happy to help people with their health or fitness journey if that's what they want.
Cool.
Happy to.
Yeah. Thanks, Shawna. Yeah, and Shawna's great, you guys. I can vouch for her. We worked together for a year and she just helped me in so many levels and she's such a driven go-getter and you really do care. That's what I loved about you. You really care about the person.
Well,
You're not just
thanks.
like, "Oh, I'll just check that off my list." Like you care and you're willing to do what it takes to get us to our results. So, thank you so much for being here, Shawna. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and it's fun to watch your trajectory, Carla.
Thank you.
I got an eye on you, and I'm excited for what's in the future for you as well. So thank you for having me, and I can't wait to listen to more of your podcasts.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. This episode is brought to you by my company, Power Fitness Online. We are a tight-knit fitness community, and we guide you every step of the way to get fit and stay fit through our live workouts, nutrition coaching, and incredible support team. Go to powerfitnessedson.com to learn more. Thank you for tuning into the podcast today. If you enjoyed it, please leave a positive review on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Music, or wherever you're listening. And if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I would love to see your comments. I would love to know what you think about this episode and interact with you. I love hearing from you. Once again, I'm Carla Rand, and this is The Carla Rand Show, and I can't wait to see you next week for our next episode.